Are you thinking about offering a communication guarantee to your seller, your listings, but you're not sure how to set that up? If you are, you're in the right place. Let's talk. Hi, I'm Mike Cerrone with Two Listings Per Month, and I'd like to chat with you about this idea of offering a communication guarantee. This is a guarantee that goes out to the sellers you're representing, your listings, the sellers of the listings that you have, where sellers asked you to sell their home and represent them, right? They tend to like it when you communicate with them. Now, we've been in a really fast market, and you're like, well, of course I'm going to communicate with them, Mike. Yeah, but that's easy when the home sells in 2 days. But when the home sells in 2 months or 2 years, I actually had a crazy deal where I had a short sale that just couldn't come together. 18 months. Ah, well, you got to stay in communication with your seller and tell them what's going on, even if you have nothing to communicate. So the best thing is to create a structure for that, and then you can bring it back into a guarantee that you're going to do it. See, here's the problem. I guess I should have gone here first. Some sellers, if you reach out to them, they're expired listings. And one of the things that they hate the most is that their agent disappeared. They hired the agent, was all happy and smiley and nice, and they signed all the paperwork, and they got the sign in the yard and the lockbox and the photos, and everything was going along. And then after a week or two or three or four, all of a sudden they didn't hear from the agent anymore. And they were trying to call the agent or text him and email him and trying to reach out, and the agent just disappeared or would only respond to him once a month. Or it was awful for these people. They didn't know what was going on. They were confused. Most of them don't even know that their home expired, right? Because the agent wasn't in communication with them. So what I recommend is that you stay in touch with these people once a week. Once a week is a minimum. Now, you may be talking to them more often, especially if you have offers or other things. But if you're just in the marketing phase, at least contact them once a week and tell them what's going on. And then, even more important, when you get under contract, at least once a week, right, of what's happening next. And by the way, that's a great way to think about it. This is what's going to happen next. This is what's happened in the past. This is what's going to happen next. That's it. It's going to be very simple. Now, I've given a video on how I give that report, that weekly report. Check that out. I didn't put the link in, but you can check it out on our channel. What this is for, though, is the guarantee itself, the marketing, because you're going to be reaching out to people who want to make sure you're going to stay in communication with them. And if you're reaching out to expireds, they're very interested in this. This could be the difference between whether they hire you or hire somebody else. Okay. So here's my communication guarantee that I make. And again, I'm just going to give you the outline and the idea, and then you talk to your broker and attorney and you put it the way you want, because this is not legal advice, just educational concepts. So what I do on the communication guarantee is, hey, look, seller, I'm going to stay in touch with you at least once a week. I'm going to be communicating with you. If I fail to do that, I will pay you $200. That's it. All right. Now, I want to clarify what that means, and I get into all the details with them. It's kind of referenced in the marketing, and it's definitely presented even in bigger, bolder type when we get into the listing presentation. And then, of course, the listing contract is going to have all this as well, to be very, very clear. What's going to happen is this. I am going to promise to communicate with them once a week. I do it on the same day every week. I do it on a Tuesday, so it's pretty easy for me to track and to show anybody after the fact. And especially because I send out email as well as a phone call. I recommend you do that, by the way, especially if you're going to do this kind of program. Pretty easy to show that email. Hard to show the phone call, maybe show your phone log. But if you do the email, it's really hard to argue you didn't give the communication as far as a seller report of what's happening on their property. So I send out an email and then make a phone call once a week to them and let them know what's going on. And they love it. I love it. We're in communication. We're strategizing. We're planning on what's going on. And we're building that relationship, because sometimes these transactions can be a little rough and tumble. And so you want to have a strong relationship with your sellers. You're working through all that. Okay. All right. The guarantee is that if I fail to communicate with you, if I don't call you or communicate with you, once one of the, I say communicate rather than call, because it could be the email, it could be the phone, could be both in my case, could be text if that's what they prefer. They're going to tell you what they prefer in communication. But it's going to be at least once a week. And if I fail to do that, then I'm going to pay you $200. And here's how I'm going to do that. When we get to the closing, I'm going to rebate back or refund back to you $200. I'm going to reduce my commission by $200. Okay. And that way you have that $200 in your pocket and I don't. Okay. That's my penalty for not staying in communication with you. That's how important I think it is. It usually makes sellers head spin. What do you mean you're going to pay us? I don't get this. And by the way, that's a great way to get a dialogue started from a lead. How's this $200 thing work? And you can explain it and talk, and you can pivot and say, well, what are you trying to do? All right. So that's how it works. You want to talk to, again, your broker or attorney to make sure you're using proper language or whatever your area, your state, your MLS, whatever the rules are in your area as far as how you're going to present this to make it comply with your area. That's why I can't tell you the language to use. I can just tell you the concept to use, okay? You want to have the concept all outlined in your head that you're going to do this, how often you're going to communicate, what the penalty is going to be, how you're going to pay that penalty. If it comes down, you're going to write them a check, you're going to give them some gift cards, are you going to reduce your commission at the closing like I do? And then again, the verbiage for how that needs to be in there. That's why that broker is great. They may already have a program similar. And then the attorney, if you are the broker or you need some additional help, they'll be able to figure this out and give you some great language to use. But you have to have the idea how you want to set it up. You can't just walk into the attorney's office and say, hey, I want you to give me a communication guarantee language thing. They'd be like, what does that mean? Yeah, you're going to have to explain to them what you're trying to do and the high points, and then they'll be able to craft something for you. Again, your broker, attorney, or et cetera. Hope this has been helpful. The communication guarantee is definitely something you want to do. Notice what this is, by the way. Isn't this something you should be doing? Shouldn't you be staying in communication with your seller, with your client anyway? Yeah. It's just you're turning it around. You're turning a negative into a positive. Instead of them being mad at you for not communicating at some point, you're turning it into, hey, I am going to communicate with you. And if I don't, I have a penalty. See, that's what top agents are really good at, is they're really good at just taking the benign, the normal, the regular, and turning it into an advantage. Okay. We do so many things as real estate agents. If you ever wrote it down, make your head spin how many things we do, but we don't communicate that to the seller, either in our marketing or even while we're doing it. And so they think we're not doing anything when we're doing a lot. Okay. And so that's why it's a great idea to present that to the seller as an item that you're doing. You pick out one item, like I just mentioned, this communication guarantee. You also have a list of items that you're doing for them, which is an idea you might want to do for your next listing presentation. All right. Hopefully that's been helpful. If you like this, if you like the idea of the communication guarantee, go ahead and give us a thumbs up on this video. Give us a like. And if you have any questions about this, or you have any comments about whether you've done it or not, go ahead and put that down in the comment section below. Look forward to those. All right. Hope this has been helpful. Take care. Bye now.